How's it going? It's finally time to get our freaking cool holiday LEDs integrated into Home Assistant. Here we go. Some of you might be asking, what's Home Assistant? Home Assistant is an open source smart home hub. It's the way that I control all the smart devices in my house. It takes all the different smart devices that you might have, like light bulbs, light switches, receptacles, thermostats, door locks, cameras, and yeah, even freaking cool LEDs, and brings the control of all of those devices into one place, so you don't have to open up 10 different apps to control everything. And even more importantly, it lets all of those devices interact together, even if all of those devices are made by different manufacturers. So let's have some fun bringing Home Assistant and freaking cool LEDs together. I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're all using WLED. If you're not using WLED, none of this is really going to apply. So if you haven't started using WLED yet, there's a video for you. In the latest version of Home Assistant, which at the time of this video is 0.102.2, there's an integration for WLED. That means that Home Assistant can communicate directly with your WLED controllers without using MQTT. That's awesome. Thanks, Frank. So let's integrate some WLEDs into Home Assistant. First, you got to make sure that you're on the latest version of Home Assistant. On the Developer Tools page, you can see I'm on the latest version. Now on the Configuration page, go to Integrations, hit the plus, and then search for WLED. For this to work, you're going to need to have your WLED controller already set up and connected to your network. If you don't have the IP addresses for all of your network devices memorized, go to the WLED app and find the IP address of the device you want to integrate. For me, that's 192.168.1.59. And this one is called Windows, so it detected it and already knows the name. Here it is. Oh, sadly, to read what's in the integration, I have to change my theme. All right, back to integrations. There's my new WLED light right there. Yay! Now if I click on this, it gives me all the information that Home Assistant is bringing in about this light. As of right now, it gives a light entity, a sensor with the estimated current, and that's based on the number of LEDs that you've got set in WLED and which effect you're running. Free memory gives you a switch to turn on the night light, so when you turn that on, it starts the timer. When the timer's over, the light goes off. It actually slowly dims until it goes off. It also gives switches for sync receive and sync send. If you don't know what those mean, there's a video. And one more sensor to tell you how long it's been connected to your network. Inside the light entity, we can turn it on and off, and when we turn it on, we get the color wheel, the brightness slider, and the effects list. You don't have to do anything to bring this effects list in. This is just grabbed from the WLED software. As of right now, with this version of the integration, we can't change the intensity, the speed, the palette, or set a preset. But those functions are coming. Just be patient. We can do those things with MQTT, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So there you go. That's how you integrate a WLED controller into Home Assistant. Pretty dang easy. Now for those of you who just love MQTT or don't want to use the integration, this is how you can add WLED control to Home Assistant with MQTT. This is a GitHub repository where we have the code that you'll need to input. Go to this configuration.yaml file, and in here you'll have a light entity, 2 input select entities, and 2 input number entities. In your configuration.yaml, find your lights, and then just copy everything from here. You paste it in right here. Right now there are 82 effects. There may be more someday, but because the effects are also included in the integration, and I think the integration is a better way to go, I probably won't be updating this with the new effects. If you want to use it this way, when there are new effects, you'll have to add them manually. They won't be in this GitHub repository, unless somebody else wants to add them. Now we do the same thing for the input selects. We find the input select section, and we can copy all of this from input select and paste it right here. Until the WLED integration includes the options for presets, this is how you'll have to do it if you want to have presets included in Home Assistant as a drop-down menu. Where it says preset 1, change that to whatever you want to call your preset 1. Just don't change what's in the brackets. That's important. And then you can do the same for the palettes. Grab all of this. There are now 49 palettes, and the same thing applies. I'm not going to update this GitHub repository. So if there are more palettes added, you'll have to go in and add them manually. Or again, soon, hopefully, we'll have the option to select palettes in the WLED integration. But for now, this will give you a drop-down menu of all of the palettes that are available. If you want to see what the effects and the palettes look like in the AirCookie GitHub repository, there's a list of palettes and effects. And thanks to Photo Chromax, we have this awesome example for each of the effects and for each of the palettes. Super, super cool and super, super useful. And finally, if you want to have a slider for LED speed and intensity, you need to add these two input number entities. So find your input number section, copy everything here, paste it right here. If you're new to tinkering with your configuration.yaml file, this is a main heading, input number. This is also a main heading, meaning it's all the way to the left, input select. You can only have one main heading with that name. So don't copy the input number part, just copy what's under it. Got it? Good. Those are the changes we need to make to our configuration.yaml file. So we'll save that. For the light entity, what I've got here for you will affect all of your lights. In your WLED settings, if you go to Sync Interfaces, down here in the MQTT section, you can see the topic for this device and what group topic this device will also respond to. I've left all my group topics as WLED All. And in the example, I left it WLED All. If you wanted to break your devices up into subgroups, then in WLED settings, for each device in a specific subgroup, you'd want to change all to something else. Then in the configuration.yaml, you would need a new light entity that would use the subgroup topic, whatever you decided to put instead of all. So if you wanted one for inside the house versus outside the house, you could change all to inside on some of your controllers and then have an entry in the configuration.yaml where your topic is inside. And then on your other controllers, change all to outside. Then make a new entity, including everything here. Just copy it and paste it right below. And then change the topic here to outside, or whatever you're using. I hope that makes sense. I can already see I'm going to get some questions about that. Oh well. Now we're going to make a couple changes to the automations.yaml file. This first part makes the speed slider work. The next part makes the intensity slider work. The next part makes the palette drop-down list work. And finally, the presets drop-down. You can copy all this and paste it just like that. Save this, and as we always do because we're smart homers, check the config, and when it's done, as long as it says it's valid, restart the server. It should be good to go. After you've successfully restarted, you can verify that your new WLED control entities are available by going to the Developer Tools and States page. And then you can search for WLED, and you'll find automations for the intensity, the palette, the preset, the speed. You'll also find the input select for the palette and the preset. And there also will be a light entity called Light WLED Lights. This is the one. That's because that's what I called it right here. If you want to name it something different here, then you'll get a different name here. But like with anything else, you can always go to Customizations, find the device that you're looking for, WLED lights, and you can change the name. I'm going to change it to all lights. Back on the stage page, it's now called all lights. That was easy. If I turn all lights on, I get a brightness slider, I get the color wheel, and I get the effects list with all 82 effects. But this doesn't have the intensity or the speed slider, and it doesn't have the presets or the palette drop-down menus. Those are here, and we can look at them. Here's the palette list, and here's the preset list. But now we want them all in one place where they're easy to control. So let's go to Lovelace, which is really just the fancy name for the Home Assistant user interface. In Home Assistant, to edit the user interface, you hit the three dots, go to Configure UI, and then you can hit the plus right here to add a different kind of card. There is a default light entity card, but I like the custom entity card better. If you add just the default light entity card, it would look like this. And that's fine for turning them on, but that's about all you get to do. Turn them on, turn them off, and set the brightness. We want to do something more than that, because these aren't just normal lights. So to get a user interface that gives us the option to do more than just turn it on and off and adjust the brightness, we're going to use a custom light entity card. To get it, you go to the community store, under plugins, and search for light, and you'll find the light entity card. Install it, then grab these two lines under resources. Copy those, go back to your Lovelace configuration, and then raw config, and paste in those two lines that you copied from the light entity card page. You probably already have a section that says resources. If you don't, add it. Save that. Now we're going to add a manual card. And so you don't have to come up with all this yourself. Go back to GitHub, and I've got a Lovelace UI file here. And if you copy everything here and paste it in this box, it'll show up like this. Save that. And now everything here, including all lights, speed, intensity, and these two drop-downs, is custom. I can turn on my all lights. I can adjust the brightness. I can change the color. I can select the effect. I can change the speed. I can change the intensity. I can select a different palette, and I can select a preset. So there you go. Even if you use the integration for WLED, having this kind of a light card and an interface is pretty useful. Something else that you might want to do is create a button for a specific preset. To do that, you want another custom card, which is called the button card. So again, go to the community store, plugins, search for button, install the button card, copy these lines back into your configuration. You can see mine right here under resources. Save that, then configure UI, press the plus, make a manual card, go back to GitHub. In the button card YAML file, I've got the code you need to make 4 preset buttons all stacked up in a line next to each other. So you can just copy all this and paste it into your manual card box. Save it, and it'll make these 4 buttons. The way this works is if you press and hold a button, it will turn on all your lights. And then each of these buttons corresponds to an LED preset. So when I press button number 2, the preset changes to 2. When I press 3, changes to 3, 4 to 4, 1 to 1. They all work as toggle buttons as well. If you press and hold them until the little circle shows up, they'll toggle all the LEDs. That's pretty cool. If you want to, you can change the names of these to things that make more sense based on whatever your presets are. And that just changes the name. So there you go. A few buttons to help you with presets. This isn't the only way that you can set up buttons for presets. In fact, none of this is the only way that you can do any of this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My way is not the only way, and often it's not even the right way. Now the last thing we need to do is set up some automations so that our lights will come on at certain times a year, certain times a day, with certain effects. Should be easy, right? It's always easy. First time, every time. I've got here an automation that's triggered by sunset, and if the month is December, then it will turn on all my LEDs, set the effect to Merry Christmas, wait 5 hours, which is probably long enough for Christmas lights, and then it turns the lights off. It actually also sets the effect back to solid, but that's not really necessary. If you want to copy this for yourself, it's also available in the GitHub repository under Calendar Automation. Now, for different times a year, you can change this to a different month, and you can change this to a different effect. If you wanted it to call a preset instead of a light effect, then it would look like this. The difference is this service, which selects preset number 1 from the WLED presets list. Boy, all this work makes me thirsty. What's that? This is my magic energy potion. Mrs. Z's made it for me with her new juicer. It's green, so it disappears with the green screen. Why talk about my new juicer? Because nice people send me a lot of stuff. And sometimes that stuff is pretty cool. And when it is, I like to try and find ways to tell you about it. This juicer is great for getting kids to eat vegetables. Okay, who am I kidding? It's a great way to get me to eat vegetables. This thing is actually really awesome. You can throw the whole fruit or vegetable in there, and it separates the juice from the rind and the other stuff that you don't want to drink. The one we have is made by Vita Extra. There'll be a link in the description if you want to get one for yourself. Thanks, Vita Extra. Cheers. Yummy. Well, that's it. WLED integrated into Home Assistant. You can do it through the Home Assistant integration, or you can manually integrate it with MQTT. You can set up a cool user interface, make some preset buttons, and set an automation so that a specific month at sunset, lights turn on with your specific effect or preset. Not bad for one day's work. That's all for now. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, adios. The entity we're using, that ain't right. If you need help or want to chat with me or others who also enjoy projects like this, you can find us on Facebook and Discord. If you like what I'm doing and you want to support me, you can use my special product links in the video description, or head over to Patreon, or just like and share my videos. That's easy. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, this box will take you to a playlist of some of my favorites. In addition to videos like this, I also do live streams every Sunday. This box will take you to a recording of the latest live stream. That's all for now. Adios.